Nature has always been a killing field. Every single second, something is hunting and something else is dying. We are going on a journey through 500 million years of evolution. We are looking for the absolute deadliest animals to ever walk, swim, or fly. We are starting in the Cambrian period, roughly 500 million years ago. Imagine a world where the ocean is a nightmare. You are floating in the sea, you are small, and you are being hunted by the Anomalocaris. This was the first true apex predator. It was 3 feet long. That does not sound like much, but back then it was a monster. It had 2 spiky, jointed feeding appendages that snatched prey from the water. It had a circular mouth lined with jagged plates. It was the first animal to evolve compound eyes. It could see you before you knew it was there. It was the terror of the primordial soup. But then we move to the Devonian, the age of fishes. Meet the Dunkleosteus. This fish was a tank. It grew up to 20 feet long and weighed 4 tons. It did not have teeth. It had something better. It had bony plates that acted like a self-sharpening guillotine. When it snapped its jaws shut, it did so in 1/50th of a second. The force was so immense it created a vacuum that sucked its prey right into its mouth. If you were a prehistoric shark back then, the Dunkleosteus was your worst nightmare. It literally lived to crush bones. Then we hit the Carboniferous. The insects took over. Because of the high oxygen levels, they grew to sizes that seem impossible today. Imagine a centipede the size of a human. This is the Arthroplura. It was 8 feet long. It was heavily armored. It had dozens of legs that could navigate the forest floor with terrifying speed. It was not the most aggressive hunter, but in a world of giant bugs, it was the king of the dirt. Fast forward to the Permian period. Enter the Gorgonopsid. This was a synapsid, an ancestor to mammals. It looked like a nightmare hybrid of a dog and a lizard. It was the first animal to evolve true saber teeth. Some of its canines were 5 inches long. It was the first specialized hunter to track prey over long distances. It was fast, it was vicious, and it was the undisputed king before the dinosaurs even arrived. Now we hit the Mesozoic, the age of the dinosaurs. You expect me to say T-Rex, right? Wrong. Let's talk about the Spinosaurus. It lived in the Cretaceous. It was larger than a T-Rex. It stood 20 feet tall and reached up to 50 feet in length. It was the first semi-aquatic dinosaur. It hunted in the rivers of North Africa. It had a massive sail on its back and a snout like a crocodile. It was built to hunt giant sawfish and anything else foolish enough to enter the water. It was a specialist killer. It owned the shoreline, and nothing could challenge it. But let's talk about the sky, the Quetzalcoatlus. This was a pterosaur the size of a giraffe. Its wingspan reached 40 feet. Imagine a creature that could look you in the eye while you were standing on a second-story balcony. It didn't just fly. It walked on 4 limbs and hunted like a giant stork from hell. It would snatch small dinosaurs right off the ground and swallow them whole. It was the largest flying animal to ever exist. It dominated the air for millions of years. Then, the asteroid hit. Most of the giants vanished. We enter the Cenozoic, the rise of the mammals. One creature stands out, the Andrewsarchus. It was the largest mammalian land predator in history. It looked like a giant wolf, but it was closer to a hippo. It had a massive head, powerful jaws, and it was built for scavenging and hunting. It lived in the Eocene, about 40 million years ago. It was a beast that defined an era of change. But let's move closer to home, the Pleistocene, the age of the giants. We have the Smilodon, or the saber-toothed cat. It was not a tiger, it was a precision instrument of death. Its bite force wasn't massive, but it didn't need to be. It had 2 blade-like teeth designed to slice through the soft tissue of a throat. It was a social predator. It hunted in packs. If you saw one, there were already 3 more flanking you in the tall grass. And then there is the Megalodon. This is the king of the ocean. It lived until about 3.6 million years ago. It was 60 feet long. Its bite force was estimated at 40,000 pounds per square inch. That is 10 times stronger than a great white shark. It hunted prehistoric whales. It could bite a small car in half. It was the ultimate oceanic predator. When it went extinct, the entire marine ecosystem changed forever. Finally, we arrive at the present. Who is the deadliest animal today? It isn't the lion, it isn't the shark, it isn't even the grizzly bear, it is the mosquito. Think about that. Across human history, the mosquito has killed more people than any other predator. It carries malaria, dengue, yellow fever, and West Nile. It has claimed billions of human lives. It doesn't have teeth. It doesn't have claws. It is small enough to crush with a finger. Yet, it sits at the top of the leaderboard. Looking back, we see a pattern. Evolution doesn't always reward the biggest or the strongest. It rewards the most efficient. The Anomalocaris was efficient. The Dunkleosteus was efficient. The mosquito is the ultimate expression of efficiency. It doesn't need to be giant to dominate the planet. It just needs to be better at surviving than you are. We tend to fear the monsters with the biggest teeth. We watch movies about sharks and dinosaurs. But the real danger is almost always something that can fit on the tip of your thumb. Evolution is not a ladder toward perfection. It is a constant arms race. Every creature we have named was at one point the perfect killer for its environment, and every one of them was eventually replaced by something else. We are just the current inhabitants of this planet. We are the masters of the earth today, but history shows that the crown is always up for grabs. Nature doesn't care who you are. It only cares who is left standing when the dust settles. Who knows what kind of predator will rule the world in another 1,000,000 years? One thing is for certain, they will be better at killing than we are.